challenge with software reaching an end of life and not getting security patches is that somebody with malicious intent could find a hole in that software, exploit it, and affect your store. And if someone does that and you don't have the guarantee of any kind of patching or any kind of support, then you could end up having a much bigger problem. If everybody broke into your database and stole all your customers or all your customer credit card information or even their emails, right? That could be a bigger problem for you. So end of life is one of those things you do want to care about, but it's not as deathly as like your store is going to fall over and drop dead 10 seconds after June 1st.
There are some realities in terms of end of life from a risk standpoint, and those really show up in the form of security more than anything else. So once we hit end of life, first of all, you become a target for hackers. You become a logical target because a lot of organizations, probably haven't addressed what their plans are for an upgrade or a migration, right? They're no longer in a safe environment unless they've chosen to work a partner like Nexus. They may still be figuring it out because the site will continue to run. The site doesn't stop. The site doesn't die. You still have customers you still have customers using your site, and you're still in business. And it's important to understand that patches, like security patches and performance patches, there are dozens of these things that can come out on a monthly basis. And keeping up with that is, we're an organization. We work with Magento all the time, and it is a full-time job. Our support team, it is a full-time job to be cognizant of everything that's coming out that's associated with this platform. It's a complex platform, and that's what our support team does. That's what the Nexus team does, is they're cognizant of it. They have the relationship. We have the relationship with Magento, and we are privy to and aware of everything that is coming out associated with that platform. What's important, what's not, what's maybe a nice to have versus what is a true security risk, fraud security. So there's a real risk there that needs to be considered, as end of life approaches. And the second one that's also important to consider is performance. Performance is going to start to degrade over time as well. So, that in and of itself is a reason to figure out how you're going to support your M1 platform while you are making the decision as to what you're going to migrate to. What that next step is going to be.
Years ago, I bought a car. I bought a SUV, and let's just keep this story between ourselves, okay? I bought an SUV, and I did nothing in terms of maintenance. I mean, when I say nothing, I did not take it in for one oil change, right? I did nothing. And after a year and a half, I started hearing a noise. Now, what I do when I hear a noise and in the car I'm driving is I turn on the radio, right? Then I don't hear the noise anymore. And so I didn't hear the noise, right? And I just kept driving the SUV. Everything was fine. Then I heard another noise and I thought, that's strange. Maybe it's when I'm braking, right? So I told myself I probably should at some point get some new brakes, but I didn't do anything else, right? Because also every time I applied the brakes, it was working. So this goes on for a little until I hear a much larger noise. And I think I should go get this checked. So I drive it to the dealership where I bought the car, and I take it in, and they pull up records, and they're like, "You've never done anything on this car." And I go, "No. What's the issue?" He goes, "Well, we're gonna have to do a once over. We're gonna look at it, and then we'll let you know what the damage is, right? Well, we got to figure out what the problem is, and then we'll let you know the damage." So I get a call 2 days later. We need to completely replace your engine. You didn't ever do an oil change. All the lubrication in this engine is gone. It's not like you understand anything that I'm about to tell you, except to say that you're gonna basically almost rebuy the whole car. I mean, the seats are gonna stay in the same place and the roof is gonna stay there, but everything under the hood has to be redone. We need a new engine because this thing is done with, right? You're lucky that you were able to drive it into the lot. I don't tell you that story because I like to tell people how dumb I am. I tell the story because we know a ton of merchants who got the store up and running, and then all they did was enjoy the parts of the store that they interact with, right? That's me and my radio station. That's me and my CD player. That's me in my chair and positioning the chair, but I'm never looking under the hood. And over the course of years, that engine needs care. It needs love. It needs support. It needs attention. It needs lubrication. It needs all sorts of stuff. And if you don't do anything, it's going to break. It's going to fall apart, right? Magento 1 stores need attention. And if they haven't gotten any, it's not that it'll happen tomorrow. It's not that it'll happen on June 1st. But at some point, the store will stop functioning. Why? Because it uses a certain version of PHP, and PHP is on the move. It runs on a certain operating system, and the operating systems are on the move. When the operating systems are on the move, and PHP is on the move, and Magento is on the move, and you're just saying, I want to ignore all that. I just want to leave it sitting there. Eventually, one day, the store does stop. So it's not like the store is going to magically die on June 1st. But customers do need to think through, merchants need to think through, okay, what are my steps? And the most logical thing I do, right, when my car is old or has an issue or needs support, is I take it to a mechanic. And the most important thing a merchant can do is find a good partner, find an agency that can help them navigate the next steps.
So I really like the car analogy because I think it makes sense to everybody. Everybody drives a vehicle. It's a major investment when you purchase the car. And, you know, as Chris was talking, maybe you didn't do any maintenance on the car. Maybe you did no maintenance on the vehicle. It's supported by the dealer for 18 months, 24 months. You might even have an extended care warranty for 36 months or 48 months. But at some point, the dealership no longer supports that car. They no longer perform maintenance on it. So then you go to your mechanic, you go to another, you know, it's another business, another entity altogether that will support that car for a number of years for you. But at some point in time, nobody's supporting that car anymore, or the upkeep on it is so expensive, it's just not worthwhile. And, you know, that's one scenario where maybe you don't do anything for a number of years. The flip side of that is, while you own that car, you know, over a period of 5, 7, 10 years, there's a lot of innovation in the automotive industry, right? There's new cars coming out on the marketplace, you know, with better, you know, that are faster, that have additional features and functions. You know, you look at a car that's 10 years old versus one that, you know, you purchase this year, and there's just an incredible amount of difference in terms of innovation and technology and the gas mileage you get out of it. You know, electric, hybrid, like the options are, you know, so much greater than they were even a few years ago. So you're missing out on a lot of that innovation, you know, as time goes by. It's just a natural evolution. You know, the other scenario is maybe I customized my car to death, right? Maybe I added rims and I did custom engine work to it. I take that car to a dealer after a number of years, and they don't know what to do with it, right? Like it truly, I may have customized it to the point where it's no longer supported, right? I invalidated my warranty for that vehicle because of all the changes and modifications I've made to it. Magento is a very customizable software, and you know it is a given that customization will take place over time to meet the needs of the business. And you know, it's just the natural evolution of the platform and how businesses are using the platform. And you know, you get to a point, you know, Miguel mentioned this as well, but you get to a point where just the cost of maintenance, of maintaining a vehicle that's 10 years old, it just gets so costly. Because, you know, I think everybody knows this scenario. One thing starts to go wrong with the car. This is my experience. You know, one thing goes wrong, and then it's something else, and then it's something else, and then it's something else. And when that starts to happen, the best thing you can do is upgrade to a newer model.